automated my limo business. Very simple. One of the very first niches I got into, did a lead gen site, sold it for too cheap. Hey, we're guilty, including myself, of doing deals too cheap when we first get started because we're excited. We want to just get money flowing in. Totally no problem with it. Learn from it, grow from it. That's what I did. Guy started to grow. Limo business grew. Had to add an extra vehicle. I'm going, dude, this guy's making a ton of money. I'm going to go back and ask for more money, which totally I was bringing the value. Asked for more money. He said, nope, nah. And he goes, and you know what? Basically, he knew that no one else in town was probably going to work with me because there was only 2 other limo companies. And I think some point in my conversations, which was probably dumb, I told him that they both didn't want to work with me early on. So it was like, I already kind of probably showed my hand. Nevertheless, I said, all right, no problem. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my site since I own it. Again, another reason why you want to own these things. And it's my site, it's my phone number. I'm just going to take it and do what I please with it. And he goes, do whatever you want with it, man. I think he's trying to call my bluff. So I bought a limousine for $22,000, I think, $23,500. My buddy had one. It was really cool. It was a Chrysler 300 wrapped in matte black. Bought it. And then my lead gen site, all I did was I took the calls that were coming in. I hired a call center and paid I think it was 85 cents a minute, which is probably high, which whatever, I don't care. It was worth it to me instead of hiring a full-time receptionist. Calls were generated. They went to the call center. I trained the call center with my own phone script. So I wrote a phone script for them. They rehearsed it for a day. I do practice calls at them. I throw them curveballs, whatever. I set up BookFresh, which there's a million booking softwares out there. At the time, BookFresh was integrated pretty heavily with Weebly. But I use Schedule Once now. Some of you guys use Calendly. There's a million different booking softwares you can use. There's nothing special about one or the other. It's not about the software. It's about being able to book online. I got them. So when the call happened, it popped up the software. It showed the calendar. They read the script. They answered the pricing questions and then simply booked the people that ultimately wanted to book a limousine. The booking software set up to alert my driver, who was a retired guy who just wanted to make extra money because he retired and he liked driving the limo. So it would text message him and email him upon booking. Then he would simply look at his calendar for the day because it would go into a Google Calendar for him and it would show him the drives that he had to make. He'd simply pick up the limousine at the storage unit that we had it stored at. He'd have it washed at a local place that we had an account with, so we didn't have to have him. He didn't have to carry any cash, so literally they would just have a month-end account for us on the detail and expenses. We had a gas card, so he could use the gas card simply for that and report it obviously to us. So there was that one little thing, and he would literally pick up the people that were booked by the call agent at their place. He would drive them at the agreed upon price. He would drop them off at the agreed upon time. He would take the money, and the money would be dropped into a drop box at one of our buildings that we had. And if they wanted to do credit card, then we would call and we would get credit card over the phone. Or I think he had a square stripe or square thing to swipe as well. That would go into our account, of course. Okay, so 100% hands-off business. With that being said, nothing's 100% hands-off, even if it's fully automated or fully passive, as you guys understand. There was times where I got calls at 3 a.m. that my limo broke down, overheated. It was on the side of the road, needed a special tow truck. Luckily, I had a tow client on lead generation, so I had some pull there. But that's how I created a fully automatic limo business. When I decided to leave Eugene, I sold the business, and that was that. So that was cool. So that's how I took a lead gen property, turned it into what we call kind of the arbitrage model, and fully automated it. It's the difference of making $350 a month to $2,000 to $5,000 a month. Some months were slower, some months we made up to $5,000. Yeah, cool business. Obviously, like anything, you got repairs on the limo. One night it got taken to a place, it got backed into, so it had to go get body shop work done. I mean, listen, there's always going to be crap when you run a business. There's always going to be things you run into when you run a business. So as much of a perfect situation as I created out of it, it still wasn't 100% perfect. But listen, making money ain't perfect. There's going to be things you do when you make money. In fact, I'll tell you what, if any of you guys are UFC fighters, this is a really good story. I got up at 5 something this morning. I don't know why, I just couldn't sleep. And I started reading. I read a lot of news. So I have the Apple News app and I follow a lot of different topics. And I try to spend 30 to 45 minutes a day reading, not like sensationalized news about politics and BS like that, because I could care less about that stuff. But I try to read news on like things about the industries we're in or athletes, things that inspire me, what have you. And I try to just kind of stay up on current events. The reason I like to stay up on current events is because in the game of sales, when you're building common rapport, the more you know about the more things, the more people you can talk to. Right? If I know a little bit about hunting or a little bit about fishing and a little bit about airplanes and a little bit about Lamborghinis and a little bit about sports and a little bit about golf, I can really appease to a large market, and I can actually hold my own in a conversation. I really suggest doing this if many of you guys don't have a vast knowledge of a lot of different things. I think it really would help you in your conversations with potential clients and business owners and people for that matter.